Disney does not enjoy when it's sunny anymore. The View is losing control as Sonny Hostin is losing control of her actions, of her words. The latest outburst, now based on January 6th, driving the House of Mouse mad as viewers are real glad they're not tuning in anymore. But, folks, we have breaking news coming out today. It turns out things are not going Sonny's way. We'll tell you why her husband might need her paycheck more than she needs it now.
You know, we need to move on from January 6th. I say no. You don't move on because January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we as ever endeavor to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve, and we love doing so. Today, we are joined with a panel of pure excellence. We have Ron E. Bradley from Follow the Bradleys Fun, and we have Lorena Creole from, well, Lorena Creole. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Yes.
Now, folks, if you're wondering why Lorena is not on camera as per the norm, it's because Lorena was exceedingly kind to come join us. The breaking news just happened after the Pro Show, and so we had to hurry to get this going and get this in. And do not go anywhere, folks, because, yes, it does seem like at the same time that Sonny Hostin is potentially costing herself a job at The View, putting Disney in a position where they really are going to struggle justifying keeping her on the payroll, her husband is caught up in a lawsuit. I can't even imagine how expensive the legal costs will be. We're going to go through it all. But let's take a look at what we've got here. It's out of the New York Post. We will, to the best of our ability, play what Sonny Hostin said. Don't go anywhere. Of course, we will have to bleep it because she went nuts. This is out of the New York Post. It's by Victor Nava. It says The View co-host Sonny Hostin slammed for likening J6 to, well, one of the worst events in all of human history and, well, one of the worst things in all of human history. Extraordinarily unhinged is how Sonny Hostin is being described. Even for Disney, it is difficult to imagine how she survives this. And I know that there are so many out there who will say, Pro, they'll keep anybody on. But I'm telling you, you got to remember, they've got that Gina Carano lawsuit against them where it's claimed that if you have the right political thoughts in terms of Disney, they'll keep you. And if you're conservative or moderate, they'll get rid of you. And Sonny is really out there. In fact, advertisers might not even be able to handle this one. Here's what it says. The View co-host Sonny Hostin was lambasted Monday for comparing the January 6th situation at the Capitol building to some really bad things. And I apologize, folks, if you're listening into this as if it's a podcast instead of watching. Just know that some of these words are so unsafe for us to say and for our advertisers that we just have to be really careful. It says, Hostin said, I think we need to find moral clarity, in this country. She said on the 4-year anniversary of the certification of Joe Biden. Hostin, 56, lamented that in her view, some people have grown less outraged over the incident as time has gone by. Now, we can read all that she said, but we can also just play it. But I just want you to understand that this has drawn some significant backlash, as the Post says. So here's what some of that backlash is. This is a quote from CNN political commentator Scott Jennings. Already today, we have heard some people in other venues say extraordinarily unhinged and vile things, comparing J6 to what happened during World War II, to the enslavement of vast numbers of people, and to World War II itself. Jennings continued to say, I think we need to arrange our feelings and control ourselves accordingly here and not go off the deep end. It was not a good day. Violence of the political nature cannot be condoned, but we can also be measured in how we view it in light of the rest of American and world history. I think people ought to really take stock of our feelings and not get out over our skis too much today and minimizing other world events and comparing them to that situation of J6. Now, remember that Hostin, she is someone who is on Disney's payroll. She speaks, one would assume, in some manner, to some degree, for Disney. She's on their daytime talk show, which is The View. Folks, we'll play it. Here is what Sonny Hostin had to say. Apologies for the bleeps.
I think we need to find moral clarity, in this country. And I just remember after January 6th, you had someone like Mitch McConnell placing the blame on January 6th where it belonged, squarely on Donald Trump's shoulders. Mm-hmm. And then you started seeing people backtrack that mm-hmm. and losing their moral center. You had Condoleezza Rice, I believe, on this very show saying, we need to move on from January 6th. Mm-hmm. I say no. You don't move on, because January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, like World War II, things that happened, like chattel slavery, we need to never forget, because past becomes prologue if you forget any race. I want to ask you.
All right, so I want to go to Lorena first on this. Lorena, these don't seem to be equal things to me, but I don't want for us to get lost in trying to explain J6 or give our opinions on it. And the reason for that is I don't think we're going to change anybody's opinion. We're 4 years into this. Everybody out there has a very high IQ, and they've already figured out what they think about it. That said, Lorena, what do you think the media damage is, and the damage is to Disney with her making comparisons of that situation with things like chattel slavery and things like the elimination through excruciating pain of 6 million people in World War II? What do you make of these comparisons?
Well, let me first say this. One of the things that Sonny Hostin and I have in common is that, one, we're both Afro-Latina, and we both descend from people who enslaved other people. So I find it not only disingenuous, but she just unleashed a tactical nuke with what she said. There is absolutely no way for any rational person to equate a pretty much peaceful protest. I mean, the opticals didn't look all that great, but, American citizens protesting in their way that they're allowed to do under the First Amendment. How can you compare that to religious persecution that resulted in loss of life on an unimaginable scale? Also, with the enslavement of people forcibly taken from their country of origin and pressed into enslavement in the Americas, not just the United States, but including Latin America, which actually accounted for, the enslavement of 2/3 of those of African descent. So let's put that out there. The fact that she made that comparison is a slap in the face to every American who's watching. And frankly, it makes my blood boil seeing her make a comparison like that. And right. Disney is not going to be able to, they're going to have to do something about this.
So some people are going to say, well, it was a, hyper violent and people died. And we know all the arguments. Even if you're a person on the left listening to this video, okay, let's say you're on the far, far left, because the reach that we have, we tend to think that most people anywhere near the middle, that they have a good time listening to our content, because we try to be in the sensible center. So let's say that you're way, way out there in lefty land. Even for the people who believe that this was a despicable, violent situation that cost, many, many lives and all of that, and it nearly overthrew the entire country. Let's go out there for a minute. Even in that viewpoint, it is nowhere remotely the same as literally hundreds of years of treating people like property and subjugating them against their will and destroying their families and destroying their self-worth and stealing their dignity. It is nowhere, categorically, it is nowhere in the realm of reality similar to taking 6 million people, okay, different, we're going to the other comparison, 6 million people and deleting them in excruciating pain and their families in horrific ways that are unconscionable. These are categorically different things. It's just not even close to the same. And I think you're right. I think Disney has to do something about this. Ron, please weigh in your thoughts on what Sonny Hostin has done to the Disney company.
Well, it's like you said, it's a very, very strange comparison because, for one, she compared the events of a single afternoon, maybe several hours, and that's all that lasted. Now, I know that there can be a lot of damage done to in anything in several hours, but she's comparing an event that happened in several hours to events that lasted for eons, decades. I mean, the one thing that she's comparing it to lasted for maybe hundreds of years. The other event certainly lasted for close to a decade at least, and it's strange. I mean, she's not even choosing to compare this to another event. Now, I have seen comparisons that I still personally believe that are outlandish too. For example, September 11th, I still personally believe is an outlandish comparison. I think that better comparison.
That would at least be closer. It would still be awful. It's still a terrible comparison, but it would at least be better than this. This is ludicrous.
It doesn't make any sense. Let me look from a perspective of somebody who has lived in Israel, and I've been to Jerusalem. I've been to Yad Vashem, which is the memorial for what happened during World War II for all of those 6 million that lost their lives. And by the way, that is something to see, and you will, no matter who you are, you should be overcome with emotion going in there. But comparing this one afternoon event to something like that literally affected the entire planet for decades on end, created a country. I mean, it's just, it's the most outlandish type of comparison. And I know Sonny Hostin, obviously, she doesn't always think very well before she speaks. It's like that person that doesn't have a filter, and so whatever they're thinking in the moment comes out of their mouth, even if they're not thinking the right thing, because she often has to go back and correct herself because of legal reasons. So I think it puts her, well, more realistically, it puts Disney in a dangerous position if they continue to keep her in their employ, because one thing after another, this lady is just way too far out there, and her takes could put the company at risk, legally speaking.
You said she speaks as someone who has no filter, and I agree. She's unhinged, and the problem is you don't put someone who's unhinged on live television, and I just don't see. She is such a liability. But she also now has a significant liability, and it's something to see that she's willing to say these sorts of things that put her career in very precarious position. And that's not good for her right now because her family, we'll say that, her family is facing a very significant legal threat right now. This is out of the Daily Mail. It's just breaking today if you're watching this video at the time of release. The longtime husband of The View co-host, Sonny Hostin, is starting the new year under a cloud after being accused of federal insurance fraud. Orthopedic surgeon Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin is among nearly 200 defendants named in one of the largest RICO cases ever filed in New York. He and many of the others are accused of getting kickbacks by performing surgery and fraudulently billing a company that insures taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. Hostin, this is the quote, knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries. The lawsuit, filed on December 17th, claims. This would mean, by the way, that Sonny surely would have known that her family faces a very serious legal challenge. The insurance firm, American Transit, was then billed in exchange for kickbacks and or other compensation, which were disguised as dividends or other cash distributions. Hostin's attorney, Daniel Thwaites, told DailyMail.com his client denies each and every allegation and called the lawsuit a blanket or scattershot, meritless lawsuit by a nearly bankrupt insurance carrier. Now, folks, we cannot know the merit of this case. There's no way for us to know whether or not her husband is guilty or not, and the presumption of innocence absolutely is absolutely what we do here on this channel, just as we should, because, well, that's one of the founding principles of America. However, the presumption that this will not cost money, that is definitely not there. Big money is spent in these kinds of big legal cases. Lorena, the idea that Sonny Hostin is taking such a huge chance in the things that she's saying, it only adds to the perception that she's unhinged, because the normal person facing this kind of a legal problem and knowing that they need the income, the salary that she has from Disney, they might temper what they're willing to say. It seems to be the opposite for her.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. If you have a lot to lose, especially with other people depending on you, your rational person would pretty much watch what they would say. I mean, you can still have strong opinions, but there's a difference between having a strong opinion and just being crazily unhinged. And that's what Sonny is showing right now. And I believe with what you touched on, Pro, that's also part of the reason why, especially with these recent allegations about her husband, that it's such the opposite of rational behavior. It's like, how can a person continue to act like this? I mean, think if it's just, a regular job with someone who would be unhinged like this all the time. Not a good look.
Definitely not a good look. She was, my understanding is she got a start on the O'Reilly factor. Now, maybe she was picked up by Court TV first. I don't exactly remember how that played out. But, she has been chasing, and we don't take anything away from her and her hard work and her dedication to getting on The View. But she has been chasing this opportunity for her entire life. And it seems to me that she just does not know where to stop. And even in the face of all this legal trouble, she's still not going to stop. And I think Disney is going to have to stop Sonny Hostin from putting their advertisers in a very unfavorable place. Ron, I'll give you final word on it.
Well, it's just what Lorena said about her. If this was any other regular job, obviously there is a context to the job she has. She is on The View. It is an opinion show. But I can tell you that she definitely would have been fired as a Walt Disney World employee. There's no way any of this kind of talk could have flown there. And it would have put her in a very difficult position with the company as a whole, trying to get on anywhere else, had that been the case. It's amazing what they will allow, what Disney seems to be willing to allow, if the viewpoints perhaps align with their upper level executives. And I'm not, I'm speculating. I can only speculate. But again, they do have that pending case with Gina Carano, and I think that if Sonny remains in their employ, it puts them in a very precarious place when it comes to that particular lawsuit, which is still outstanding and I believe is about to go to discovery. And I know that Disney has tried to stop that lawsuit every single step of the way and has lost and lost and lost, because that lawsuit continues to be pursued and go through the legal process. I wish good things for Gina Carano, because what she said is nothing. It wasn't even said. It wasn't spoken. It was just a tweet, and it was actually a retweet of something else. So it's crazy to see the hypocrisy coming if somebody like Sonny continues to stay in the employ of ABC, Disney, and somebody like Gina is let go. It's just incredible hypocrisy on the part of the company, on the part of Disney, but also at the same time, what is the liability? It makes me wonder, and we shall see.
My prediction here is that, and by the way, folks, we're recording this on the 7th of January. My prediction is we're either going to get an apology from Sonny Hostin, or they've got a plan to sunset her out of the show, because this is something that's going to get Jewish communities really, really unhappy at her. It has the opportunity to get all kinds of other groups unhappy. It causes advertisers to get very squeamish, because now they're actually afraid, probably. Like, do I want my toilet paper commercial? Do I want my, hand soap commercial? Do I want whatever it is they're selling lately? The dryer fabric commercials. Do I want to have that associated with whatever the crazy ladies of The View happen to say that day. That's where you get in the situation where you can see a cascading series of events where Disney suddenly loses that advertising stream. And I just don't think they want to do that, but we shall see. How quickly can the Disney company heal itself? Well, as quickly as they can get rid of crazy people saying crazy things, that's for sure. We'll see what they do. Folks, one thing we need from you, though, click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts and tell us whether or not you think Sonny Hostin will be let go. And if you're watching this video after she's let go or she leaves or Disney stands by her, well, you're cheating. Drop a comment down there anyway and tell us, were we right or were we wrong? Folks, you will never be wrong to go follow the Bradley's Fun with Ron Bradley covering the theme parks. And Lorena Creole, she's giving you the truth you need to have the vacation you seek. Lorena, we'll hand it to you for a moment. Tell the folks out there what they can expect upcoming soon on your channel.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. As for what you can expect from me coming up, of course, tonight at 7:30 p.m., the Spice Lounge show is back for 2025. Ron Bradley is going to be on there with me, as well as Erica. We're talking about all the IP rehashes that are coming out this year for the box office. So we're going to take bets on pretty much which ones are going to be okay and which ones are going to go not so well. And of course, you can look forward to theme park streams from me, and especially news about Epic Universe and the opening of their Stella Nova Resort.
Folks, stay tuned to Lorena Creole and follow the Bradley's Fun, where you will never be done finding out what's really going on in the happiest and funnest places on earth. Funnest? It's real. All right, folks, we hope you had a real good time. We'll see you real soon. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having real fun.
Clickbait, fraud, drama queen. Ugh. I wish there was a channel that was 5 to 6 minute news reads without the drama, frauds, and clickbait that could accurately let me know the current news, providing my crucial context utilizing all the different That Park Place contributors and creators.
Well, stupid. There is. It's the That Park Place YouTube channel, which will be going live real soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you can really stick it to the algorithms.
You're joking.
Nope.